Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's Tips and Tricks webinar. Today's topic is on the new R81.20 threat prevention blades. Please use the Q&A chat if you have any questions. We'll get to those during the webinar. Our presenter today is a security engineer from Maryland, Mazar Hamayim. And Maz, take it away. It's yours.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mazar Hamayim. I work with Checkpoint for past few years, and I'm also part of the Checkpoint's Office of CTO Cyber Evangelist team. And our today's topic is the newer threat prevention capabilities and technical preview for to be introduced in R81.20. And today's fast world, what worked previously might not work in the upcoming threat landscape with Gen 6 threat landscape. And to tackle and catch and prevent, we have to rely on the deep learning, latest threat prevention technologies, and faster techniques, which can be utilized by the sophisticated DNS attacks in real time. And we make few changes. We added more blades in past few years, but this time we are adding something specific for DNS security. And how it works, as if you see this slide, we have the Quantum, which is our appliances platform from small office firewalls to data center gateways. Then we have CloudGuard, which is our cloud infrastructure, where either you're using in AWS, Azure, or GCP, or your public cloud or private cloud. And then you have the Harmony, which provides you the security across the landscape. But our topic circles around Horizon security management and security operations in collaboration with Threat Cloud and Global Threat Intelligence. How we're taking care of this, we'll cover in next few minutes. The key components are the Quantum and Quantum Spark gateways, because services what we previously were using by adding a manual DNS entry or third-party DNS, secure DNS services. And what we were trying to do that there are always chance that somebody miss one particular step, and how we will fix that. And then security management is same as always. Infinity Portal user is for the user base which is using our security management server, part of the SaaS solution provided and managed by Checkpoint Software, which is the called the Smart One Cloud. With this particular solution, we're proud to say that out-of-box discovery and enforcement without having any third-party services involved. System prerequisites, you need to be running the R81.20 general availability version on security management servers and security gateway servers. What is DNS security? So there are several things what we are trying to tackle as a to fix a challenge. The one major thing and attack format came in picture in past few years is DNS tunneling. And then there are some enhancements which can be used by APTs and others, which was named and labeled as stealthy DNS tunneling. And then we will also cover a few things, how we can take a look into wildcard DNS attacks and domain generation algorithms. So how does it work today for the DNS? You configure a security gateway, user send a request, your gateway look into that, it goes to your DNS server, it goes to authoritative server, and we look into what exactly the domain request came in. In this case, if it is whatever is the URL, we look into that, and gateway send that to Threat Cloud for the validation to see what exactly it is. We look into that we are continuously looking into that. And difference what we do is where it makes it different. We didn't block right away. We look into the use cases and scenarios where, like, either it is some particular script is creating those domains, what is the frequency, and might be the domain is not malicious at first attempt. So we continuously basically looking into DNS tunnel detection by adding the same and techniques for the traditional DNS traversing, and then we created domain groups for each domain we look into, and we try to create a separate table for them, and we created a separate database in the backend and see, okay, first iteration, how does it looks like, what are the subdomains for this, and how it is suspicious, and for how many how much day or time it was a inactive or active, and if it is a new domain or not, or it is trying to create a lookalike domain. And we continuously look for uh, ways to use the deep neural networks behind the scene, which not only analyze various malware and ransomware for the DGS, but also create those FQDNs and already publish information within the threat cloud. And the second step, we are not doing any immediate, as I mentioned earlier. So we continuously monitor, we create 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, and then we look into each packet and queries, what we pass. And eventually when we look into everything and we, like for the newer domains strings coming, we block them right away. This way, chances of false positives are very low. When we talk about the wildcard DNS attacks, it is a tricky topic in today's world, because there are a lot more organizations and software vendors utilize the wildcard DNS for their DNS services. And this is used to evade automatic scans. It can be targeted to specific users and subdomain hijacking. And then it is used to redirect the malicious phishing sites. If you look into this picture in middle, where almost all subdomains will lead to same IP address in the end, and this is the a classic use case of wildcard DNS. How the domain generation algorithms, we are looking into those. We basically look into the DNS queries. We continuously analyze, and then we basically separate them in different tables, and then we send those queries to threat cloud, and we look into those, and we basically look into what exactly somebody is trying to do. Is it related to an infection, or we continuously do the sandboxing for the domain names. So how do we protect against the malicious domains, extract malware from the? For that, we are relying on a checkpoints in-house build solution. It's one of our core algorithm engine, and we look into that. Emulate, and within our emulation environment, we look into the DNS servers. We create all these tables. Everything happen on the gateway, and then we send those queries to threat cloud. And we look into aggregation and enrichment information from our threat cloud, and we provide a good sizable information about how many domains we are able to block and secure on a given day. Next and most important topic for the day is the zero phishing. Zero phishing, what we are trying to do, where like for past few years, Checkpoint is able to prevent zero phishing attacks or by utilizing your endpoints and your email security solutions. But there are lots of organizations who don't rely on those tools, or they are very happy with their third-party solutions. But chances are there that their users will still get those emails or the URLs, like which can lead them to the threat prevention. And these are the common things what we look into today's world, for from day phishing websites to spear phishing, whaling, text in picture, covert redirect, social engineering. Sometimes it's a human error, or users do not understand if this mail is phishing or not, because they are seeing a lookalike domain and they can lead to a participate in a phishing campaign. So what, okay, sorry. So what we are doing here is the Checkpoint Sandblast network, which have all those capabilities and engines previously we used for our email security solution. Or during COVID world, we also introduced that as a browser plugin solution, where users were able to use the plugin. But with this solution, you don't need to install any client on your endpoints. If your users traffic pass through your security gateway, we will look into that and we will provide. And this is there's nothing new to buy for your users or your you as an organization. Everything will be covered with your NGTX or Sandblast license. Within the when we talk about zero phishing in R81.20, we scan all the URLs, and what we look for, we insert in like wherever in a URL string we see that this particular form field uh, or tag added there, then those URLs are sent for the scanning on the Checkpoint Threat Cloud in real time. And then we basically look into those and we make the decision. But on other side, in browser zero phishing, we look for the JavaScript codes that can be injected on every HTML page, or when user click on a login page, we look into the login field for the username and password, and try to see where it is taking or redirecting the particular user in the backend. And we send that requirement or regarding that domain to Threat Cloud as well. And from there, we got the verdict if it is clear or not. If it is clear and clean domain, we will allow user to enter username, password. Otherwise, we will send the block page. For your zero phishing under URL-based protection, there are few, since this is going to be part of the threat prevention policies. So if you go with the autonomous threat prevention perimeter and strict profiles, this will be active out of box. When the blade is active, this protection is active. But if you are relying on in-browser zero phishing, that can be disabled on a profile level, and it's disabled by default on autonomous threat prevention. So there are two portions of this. One is for the URL based and one is the in-browser zero phishing. And the NGTX licensing is required to activate zero phishing blade. Activating without a license will not work. For the most common, might be there's a question regarding what does NGTX cover. So anything beyond a standard firewall and IPS blade, when you're relying on URL filtering, app control, identity awareness, and other blades, that means you have NGTX license. Let me see if this video works for the user experience. This was done on one of the system recently. User got an email. There's no There was no browser plugin, so automatically we look into the login field and we basically block that. If you open a different browser, there's no browser plugin there. Click the same. So it is a browser agnostic solution. That way, irrespective of what browser your users are using, or if somebody is trying to go into a cognito browser, they will be protected from this attack as well. So as you see in the video, it blocks the attack and prevent the user even in incognito mode. For inline zero phishing detailed flow, which is based on the checkpoint pattern, well, like when Rob gets to facebook.com, but if you notice, there's a little bit typo, which is facebookscam.com. It goes to quantum security gateway. Quantum security gateway tries to go to get Facebook scam, but as part of this response comes basically that this is a not the real domain based on the DNS security. Gateway sent that request to Checkpoint Cloud for zero phishing validation. He got and edited the response with JavaScript injection and validated that it's a phishing attack and the user will get blocked. For the URL based attack protection, how it works, we look for the static form on the download HTML files. If it cache, it get details from cache and either drop or allow and send a log. Hold the connection till the time we have the verdict from our threat cloud, if it is a safe domain or not. If it is same, then we'll send it to the user. Otherwise, we'll block if it's malicious. For in-browser protection, we look into all the HTML pages and tags. A load for JavaScript from the gateway is interested in each request. It will also look into browser-based services where it's a Java service to start to run. If user clicks in an input on a form, correct elements, web reputation is used for the validation. If it is benign or malicious, we will give the answer as you saw in the previous video. Any questions, anyone?
Oh, yes, we have questions. My first question is, why'd you use me as an example as somebody who would click on facebookscam.com? You know, that wasn't very nice.
Because you are my best friend and your name came in picture.
You knew I could take it. Well, of course, we have multiple questions on when will R81.20 be released?
It is slated to be released as GA. It's part of EA for past several months, and there are last few organizations are using already, but it is slated to be GA somewhere in second half of November, before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving, yeah. And yeah, and if anybody wants to start looking at it, yeah, it is an EA, so you can start kicking the tires on it. Had a couple other questions around SSL inspection. Is that required for the DNS security? Is it required for the zero phishing blade?
No.
Sorry, somebody has their hand up. Edmund, did you have a question? You can type it in the Q&A.
I can see there was one question regarding if is it supported on open server running VSX. Answer is yes, because the gateway code remains same. Either you're using VSX or open server. So if you have these blades enabled, you will be able to look into that.
Okay. And just we're asked, do we need HTTPS inspection for the user check message?
Not for that, because we are directly looking into all the traffic with the specific to URLs.
Okay.
And the benefit for this, for the DNS security, will be applied beyond your regular HTTP, HTTPS URL communication, because it will look into your applications as well, what you are running on your computer.
Oh, there was a second half to that other question on the open server. Is it configurable per virtual system?
Yes. If you are using the VSX on that, then yes.
Okay. If SSL inspection is not required for zero phishing, how is the full URL even being seen? How is the HTML message? I'm sorry. How is the HTML being inspected?
I will take this as a follow-up question.
Okay,
I'll send the
Robert, we
details.
will.
There are a few patent pending things what we are doing there, so we cannot just disclose before launch.
Yep, we will get back to you on that one, Robert, and we'll make sure we follow up. Another same question without the HTTP inspection. We'll get back to you guys on that. I'll put it in the follow-up email. Seems like a popular question. Was there anything else? You mentioned obviously R81.20 is required. What if you have a mixed environment of gateways that weren't upgraded yet? Does it work fine on the upgraded gateways, or does that be all or nothing?
It will be on whichever gateway you can run R81 today, you will be able to upgrade to R81.20.
Okay. I think that was the questions. Anybody else, please type them in and we'll make sure we answer them here. But I think that was all the open questions.
And I just want to add one more thing, if I did not cover during the presentation, regarding how we're looking into, like, we're not looking into just full URL. We are looking into the domains or FQDNs and see for each request where it is taking. And then we basically look into those and we build a reputation for those domains based on possible beaconing or entropy and total length of the FQDN. And with enough information, with multiple hits on a period of few hours, we are able to build a reputation database regarding individual domains or FQDNs. And then we make this decision. If we go towards like immediate blocking, then yes, you need HTTPS inspection as well for that. We're looking into domain level, not the actual pages. Because if you go a couple of screens back in one of my initial example for the domain, when the automated domains are generated randomly. So if you look here, these domains, if you're gonna start doing require HTTPS inspection, then it will require a lot more resources. If you look into these domains on the top left.
Okay. Question just came in. Would that not have a potential for false positives?
That's the reason for a little bit slight delay there, where we are not blocking it right away. We're looking into how much, because if you are an organization which is being targeted by a phishing campaign, so you will see multiple domains, multiple FQDNs and URIs there.
Okay. Any more questions, folks? I think we covered it. While I wait there, I will reiterate the upgrade thing. Yes, this is coming out soon, but just a reminder, everyone, 80, 20, and 30 went end of support in September. So if you have gateways on that version or lower, please upgrade your gateways to get the latest protections. Oh, we got another question popped in. Continuation on the last one. So basically, we are not inspecting the payload and preventing access to the top level domain. Right. This is DNS. It's not the payload of the packet, right?
Yes, we are looking into DNS queries. We're not inspecting the actual content or file.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Another one. Any concern with performance with the extra blades?
That's what we are testing today and fine tuning before we making it general release.
Okay.
That's part of the QA.
Which you all can be a part of if you do the EA. So help us out. Anyone else? I don't want to cut you off if you have a question. I think that covered it, Maz. So thank you for that information. Great stuff. Like we said, this is still an EA, so some details may be subject to change, but talk to your account team, stay up to date on this stuff, and we'll make sure we let you know when this is GA. We'll send a follow-up email with any reference content and the recording link for this session. Our next webinar will be in 2 weeks. You'll see the invitation for that soon. With that, we'll let you go. Thank you, Maz. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you here next time. Bye, guys.